What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I'm Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris183, and what is going on indeed? This is awful April, ladies and gentlemen. I'm having a blast. This may or may not be our last one, correct, Steve?
It's the last one.
Yeah, I wanted to leave a little bit of a teaser out there, but I don't think we can. We've had a blast. We've done it. We've done, 3-4 albums? I don't know. I can't even keep count. And this is going to be our final one tonight. For all of you guys out there that have never listened to High School Never Ends before, or have never listened to us talk about anything within Awful April, for this mini-series that we so carefully chose, we're taking the albums that we hypothetically like the least from bands that we love. And I say hypothetically because, you know, the opinions may or may not differ.
That's right. And I picked this album. Did you say what it is? I don't think so.
Nope. I'm going to let you do it since you picked it.
That's right. So the Ataris is one of the first bands that I really got into in the late 90s as a pop punk kid. And I'm a big fan of the Ataris. I think they had a 3-album run that was, man, it's almost unparalleled. I'm sure that there are parallels, but they had 3 albums in a row that I am just in love with. And by those 3 albums, I'm talking about Blue Skies, Broken Hearts, Next 12 Exits. What was the next one? End is Forever, and then So Long Astoria. And after that, they came out with this album that we're talking about tonight, and that is called Welcome the Night. And I was super disappointed. I think I've talked about it like 100 times on this show before, how this is an album by this band that I just never got into. And you know, we'll see. Did the awful April homework assignment of forcing me to listen to this album maybe turn me around and now I love it? I don't know. But I can tell you that in 2007, man, was I disappointed. I was so disappointed. And Chris, you liked So Long Astoria. We just did an album spotlight not too long ago about that.
Yeah, and actually, if you go way back when we did the full Ataris lineup of the whole discography review, if you remember correctly, I actually was a fan of this one. Do you remember that?
You know, I know that we did it, but it was years and years ago. But I guess that's kind of par for the course. Sometimes the ones that I hate, you like. But I didn't remember that you actually did like it. Are you sure about that?
I'm not 100% sure because I cannot remember exactly, but I think I did. I don't know. I'd be interested to go back and maybe one of you guys out there that are High School Never End fans can go back and listen to that one and let us know on the Discord or wherever. But ultimately, again, these are exercises for the both of us to re-listen to these albums, and whether or not you feel like you didn't like it in the past, or maybe you feel like you did, you have memories of that. We're going to find out once again whether or not that holds true by listening through and talking about it. And I'll tell you what, Steve, like, you know, the Ataris, I'm with you. Like, there is some really great music that this band has made over the years. I was a big fan too. I didn't necessarily get into them as much as you. Like, I wasn't like a big super fan, right? But I really enjoyed a lot of their music. And I think I may have had 1 or 2 albums, but ultimately, again, this is interesting, getting into the late 2000s and kind of figuring out what the Ataris were trying to do at this point in time, which obviously was something a little bit different.
It was, and I think that it's important to go back and remember what happened with the Ataris in terms of like this point in their career. So Columbia Records put out So Long Astoria. So they were on a big ass label, and that was probably their like chance, right? They got, I wouldn't say that they got lucky in that the Boys of Summer cover became a giant hit. But somewhat, yeah, they did a cover song and it took off in mainstream radio. And so after that's done, you know, what's next? Are they trying to make, I feel like maybe Chris and the band, they're like, all right, well, if we're going to be like career successful musicians, like maybe this follow-up has to be grandiose. It has to be big. We need hits. We need radio stuff. So they changed a bunch of things up on this. I mean, they left Columbia Records because there was some, they call it the label's internal disintegration. So this happens with labels all the time, where the A&R people switch and the management switches. So they went from this big record label, and they ended up putting this out on Sanctuary Records in association with Isola Recordings, which I think is their own project. And, you know, how do you follow up a hit like The Boys of Summer? And the rest of that album obviously is amazing too, but that was the big radio hit. In This Diary was also pretty popular, but you know, what do we put out? What do we write? I feel like they changed their style big time from the previous albums to this one. They also increased their band to a 7-piece and added another guitarist and a keyboardist to this album. And that makes things kind of interesting, because that's a lot of band members for a band that's traditionally like a, you know, skate punk type of raw band. So I don't know. It did not hit for me, especially when it first came out.
Well, look, they made the conscious decision to go that route for a reason. Obviously, they were ready to change things up, and I don't know whether that was Chris Rowe or somebody else, or just a factor of the change in their situation. But you know, obviously adding of instruments, it adds a layer of whatever, right? I don't really know exactly what that does. What does that do? When you add another guitar in, like, is it just another layer of harmony of what you're listening to? Or
I mean, you could have, you know, multiple different things happening at the same time. There's different layers. Yeah, there's a lot more going on in this record than any other one of their records, for sure.
Sure. And it also seems like Chris does different things with the way that he sings. Are you hearing what I'm hearing in that way? Like, is he's I want to say he's like making a voice, but it's a much different delivery.
100%. And kind of like the last record we talked about in Reverie, you know, the change in vocal stylings can really change the way a record sounds or a band sounds. One of my main beefs with this album is the way that Chris is singing. He has a great, like, scratchy, singy, screamy kind of quality to how he sings. And for most of this record, he just abandons it. He's doing a Robert Smith impression. He's trying to sound like Robert Smith from The Cure. And adding in the extra musicians, layering the music doesn't really bother me, but I do feel like they were just trying to do like too much. What makes them awesome to me is their simplicity, you know, albeit with creativity, with heart, with awesome lyrics, catchy tunes, but making it more complex to me made it worse.
I think that varied by song to song, but I'll tell you what, like, I feel like the change in the vocal stylings overall lended to the sound. Like, they wanted to go darker with the sound and the music structure, so on and so forth. So the way that he delivered, like, you can't have Chris Rowe deliver the same vocal stylings from, you know, any of the So Long Astoria on this album, because it wouldn't mix. It just wouldn't. It doesn't sound as good, because this is a darker album. This is a little bit different. And so I didn't mind that as much. I thought that it made sense. I thought that it melded well together for the most part, you know, with some bumps in the road, but ultimately I think that he did a good job.
Yeah, I guess I mean, listen, the darker singing and the lower singing lending itself to darker music. All right, I see how those can correlate, but I just, you know, like
Why is that
a
so
lot of
far-fetched,
these,
though? Why is that so
I didn't say it was so
far-fetched?
far-fetched. I said it makes sense. It's just, it's not the Ataris that I'm used to. And it wasn't the Ataris that I was interested in. And it certainly didn't strike a chord with me at all.
And I think that's a different conversation. Like, you know, whether you liked it or not, it's a whole different thing. But you said it yourself when Brand New come out with the album, that you didn't necessarily, you know, when they came out with that album and you picked it up and you heard something different than what you heard off their first album, you were off put. You know, you didn't like it. It was different. It was darker. It was brooding. But
the voice was still the same, though. It wasn't pretending to have a different voice.
Yeah, but what I mean, he did do some different things. You're right. It's not exactly the same, but it's in the same vein. I'll tell you what, though, it's interesting because I want to hear from you a little bit about the reception of this album. Because I don't know if you did any research on that or not, but did you? Did
I
you?
couldn't find how many records they sold, other than it sold, I think, 12,000 like the first month it was out or something, but it did get to 85 on the Billboard 200.
So I did pull some Amazon reviews, and I'm going to read one of them. So this one's a 2-star review. It says disappointing. I'm not going to say the name because this gentleman may still be listening or whoever. He wrote it though.
I mean, he made it public, so you can say it.
He wrote it in 2007. This is Michael Gallipo. Michael Gallipo, if you're out, actually, it's J. Michael Gallipo. If you're out there, thank you for writing this. But you were very disappointed. And J. Michael says, after waiting nearly 4 years for the Ataris' next album, I had admittedly high hopes going into Welcome the Night. Unfortunately, the 4 years was either not enough time or perhaps too much. My overall reaction to the album can probably be best described as boredom. To me, this album just lacks energy and punch. Yes, parts of it may be lyrically strong, but that doesn't help much of it. It doesn't grab you musically. It's not a total lost cause, however, and he goes on to talk about a couple songs that he likes. But ultimately, again, I read a lot of 1 and 2-star reviews for this. I'm not going to read this one, but the title of this one says pompous, pretentious, and boring.
Oh, boy.
This one was written in 2009, and he is not very nice about this. Now, the thing that I'll tell you is that of the customer reviews, 43% of the reviews were 5 stars, 6% were 1 star. So, I mean, you take a look at it, and again, this is just Amazon, and this is just people buying this album, and people to take the time to do a review on Amazon, which I generally don't. However, it's not necessarily skewed totally towards the negative. But if you look on Wikipedia and you take a look at some of the reviews on, the music outlets that are out there, it's not fantastic. I think it was a 43% on Metacritic, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember correctly, Rolling Stone gave it a 3 stars out of 5, which isn't bad. It's middle of the road, but still, I mean, that's not a great album. So it's kind of skewed. I think it's just not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. And to me, it's just very polarizing. Some really got attracted to it, others didn't. And I think that you're on that one side of the fence, and I might be on the other.
We'll see. And I was very surprised last week when we did not give glowing reviews about In Reverie. And then basically more than 60% of the people in our Instagram poll said they love that album. And I said that I'd never met a real life person that I knew that liked it. I'm going to say that again. I do not know one person, and I have friends, lots of friends that like the Ataris. I do not know one person that really likes this album. So maybe the internet has and other people out there have differing opinions, but we'll walk through it and we'll talk about what I think, what you think, and we'll see what it is.
You understated the reception that we got for In Reverie, and that was interesting.
It was quite surprising.
There were so many people that disagreed. So many people. I don't get it, guys. I didn't hear it.
There were a lot of people, though, that did agree that it was awful.
There were more people that didn't.
That reached out and said something specific, yes.
Like people we've never heard from before reached out and said something.
Hey, it's all good. Maybe this one's I don't think it'll be as polarizing, but we'll see.
Well, I think it's always when you call something that people love, when you love something and you call it awful, people are going to speak up. It's just human nature. So, that's okay. That's why we're here. And that's why we're giving opinions, and that's why this segment is there. This series is so special. It's so special. Steve, let's talk about it. This is a long one, huh? This is an hour long. This album, give or take.
It is pretty long,
and this has some long songs on it too, doesn't it?
Towards the end, yeah,
like 5-minute songs. Who wants to listen to 5 minutes of that? I feel like if those two songs were a little bit shorter, we may be in a better position. But I can go ahead and kick things off with this. Are you ready to go, or do you have something else you'd like to say?
Ready to go. I think I said what I needed to say.
So, not capable of love in this first one. This is a love. Is this a love? Is this a love album, Steve? Is this all about just falling in love? And could you play this at your wedding as like some wedding music?
This song is saying I'm not capable of love. I would avoid that. Listen, the Ataris are all about writing songs about being brokenhearted and how life kind of shits on you. And I think this is just another one. It's a little self-deprecating.
Yeah, I was more talking about the album as a whole, but not capable of love, you're right, is a little bit different. Obviously, you do not want to play that at a wedding. However, maybe it's a good tune. But I wasn't upset by this start at all. Like, you think about going into this exercise with the fact that it's awful April, and you think, okay, here we go. But I did not immediately get mad about this song. I think this song had a really great rock beat overall. It got right into it. It kind of has that 80s Euro rock twinge to it, which I really get into. The Robert Smith, I couldn't think of what I was hearing. It is a little bit Robert Smith. It's probably a little bit of a mixture of others similar to him. And we're not talking Friday I'm in Love Robert Smith either. We're talking like, the deep dark stuff where he's really like kind of low voiced, but you get a really great chorus in this one too, Steve. I think that you can't deny that the melody in the chorus is just, I don't want to say infectious, but it's really catchy and it really gets you. So even with emo Chris Rowe and that voice, you still get the screamy Chris Rowe here too. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. You get that scratchy, screamy guy, and you get the emo guy at the same time. The '80s Robert Smith, Chris Rowe. So he's kind of giving you the best of both worlds. And I just think the four chords that you hear throughout this album, or this song, really just hit that tune that I want to hear. So I was a fan of this first track.
Yeah, I mean, this song sounds like the Ataris that I know and I love, and this is without a doubt the best song on the album. Like, and for them to start the album with this song makes total sense. Like, this is the one. It's got a catchy chorus. It's emotional. It's heartfelt. He's got his like self-deprecating but well-written lyrics. I love the riff. I love the guitars. I love the drums. This is the way to start off the album. Unfortunately, I don't think the rest of the album keeps quite up with the pace, but I got no problems with this song. When I heard this one for the first time, I was like, okay, that's a perfect follow-up. This could have been on So Long Astoria or whatever. He does start off the Robert Smith thing. He does do that a bit, but the chorus itself is pretty much the traditional Chris Rowe that I know.
But it wasn't shocking to me, like the voice. I liked when he did that, and I wanted to hear more of it. And by the way, the album cover, Steve, is that Chris Rowe on the front there with the beard and the guy?
I'm not sure. So usually their album covers are photography that he takes. I would put money on the fact that he took that picture, so he's not in it. But I don't know for a fact.
Have you been to that Coney Island hot dogs with chili?
Is that what says Coney Island?
It says Coney Island hot dogs with chili is what it says.
I mean, I've been to Coney Island. I don't know that I've been to that place. It looks like that place is like on the water though.
Like physically on the water?
It looks like it's superimposed like it's like on in the beach. Doesn't it look like there's sand and there's like a wave breaking and that's in the ocean?
Or it's just really rainy. Is that guy smoking a cigarette?
I think he's lighting one, yes.
He's lighting a cigarette on the beach.
I'm looking at it in like a tiny little picture.
Do you feel like he's going to that restaurant to have a hot dog with
I don't
chili?
know what it's trying to say, but it is a pretty interesting, like I do like Chris's photography. So I would suspect that those are three different 2 or 3 different pictures that are photoshopped onto one another because
Do you
there's
like chili
not
dogs?
there's not a hot dog place in the ocean.
Do you like chili dogs?
I just recently started coming around and eating hot dogs, but I don't think I've had a chili dog.
So you got to go slow then. If you've just recently started eating hot dogs, you cannot just dive right into a chili dog.
Like a year or so. I used to be like very anti hot dog, and then but every like few years I would just try one to see if I turned it around. I think what happened was one time I was like starved. I was starving, and the only place open sold hot dogs, and I ate it, and I was like, well, this isn't that bad. And then I was like, all right, well, when I go to Costco, I'll get a $1.50 hot dog.
You're in the epicenter of probably where really good hot dogs are, and you buy them from Costco. Like you could go anywhere, and you can probably get a really good hot dog at a corner restaurant that sells them.
Do restaurants sell hot dogs a lot? I don't know.
Don't they have like famous hot dog shops in Philadelphia or whatever?
There are probably some. Yeah, I'm in the suburbs, so I'm not in the city. I'm sure in the city you could probably get maybe some more of that gourmet hot dog stuff. I've passed a few places, but it's not a staple in my diet. That's probably good for my cholesterol and sodium that it's not.
Yeah, you don't need it, but it tastes good. I don't eat hot dogs a lot either. Maybe this restaurant is a Cardiff by the sea. What do you think?
What is the definition of a Cardiff? I don't know. Do you?
Is that a definition that we need to understand?
I don't know. Maybe I could just look up Cardiff definition. Cardiff is the capital of Wales. That's it. It's the capital of Wales.
Why would that be something?
I don't know.
Is he Welsh?
I mean, he grew up in Indiana. I don't really know what his lineage is or anything like that.
Rowe? Maybe that's a Welsh name.
I guess. But I think just like I don't know what he is or what this means. The
you
title.
Don't know what he is.
I mean, I don't know what his background is.
He's a man. He's a man.
Steve. He's a man. He's a man. He's a singer. I also don't know really what's going on with this number 2 song. So number 1, Not Capable of Love. I'm all in. Like it. It's very good. Cardiff by the Sea. They've got these falsetto oohs that is not something that I'm used to from them. Doesn't come off so great. To me, the musical arrangement, again, it just sounds like it's just trying to do too much. The song has no real chorus. It's got some strange voice inflection that doesn't come off to me as enjoyable. Chris does a great job most of the time with like his comparing things and his metaphors. They sounded a little lame, a little stretched. You feel as comforting as a mother's warm embrace. I'm still helpless as an orphaned child. I didn't feel like he was really connecting with me. The bridge, can you cure this loneliness in my heart? That was just weird to me. And then the thing at the end where there's just euphoria. It just didn't work for me. So as they started off pretty strong, it's a steep drop off for me. I did not like this second song.
See, I didn't think that it started off that strong. I felt like it started off sounding like it wasn't necessarily put together 100%. It seemed like something was missing or out of sync or off. However, the music intrigued me somehow, so I continued to want to listen because of the mystery in the sound. And I think that that is like, I was trying to think about what it sounded like, and I came to the conclusion that maybe it's kind of Radiohead-esque. I know that for those of you who really are big Radiohead fans, that's probably not what you want to hear, that this album is being compared to that, but that's what I kind of heard. I mean, especially with that inflection of the voice up and down, like the wavering, like that's what you hear in those albums too, especially in the last 50 seconds or so of this song. I really, really heard some of the stuff that band did in the sound that they're trying to emote there. So I like that kind of music. I really, really do. And I think that it was done well here too. I really, really, really like that last 50 seconds though. Like I'll make that a point to say it was definitely my favorite part. And a lot of it had to do with some of the vocal layering and the really cool guitar sound of that, like the finish of the song. So all in all, even though I wasn't a big fan of the way it kind of kicked off, I think it built steam throughout and it ended on a really, really high note. So I'm different than you on this one, Steve.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Yeah, New Year's Day, next one. And I love the way this song kicks off. That verse, I call it a verse starter, but because it seems to me like the verse in this song is cut up into two pieces every single time. You have the starter, which is a little bit more muted, a little bit more subdued, and then it just kind of shifts and you get a little bit faster beat, which I still like a lot, but I really like that first part even better. And they bring it back in the second verse to start it off. So all in all, again, I think it's a really, really good tune. I like the shift from muted and slow to faster. And the chorus is okay, but I think the verse is enough to be the glue to hold this one together enough for it to be a good song. So I was into this one a lot. New Year's Day. Steve.
Yeah, the opening guitar line sounds like pretty similar to how Not Capable of Love opens up. Overall, I think that this tune is pretty decent. The lyrics are pretty good. I think the voice is kind of what kills it for me on this one. Again, that trying to be the Cure, whatever it is. He just, I don't know. It just it doesn't hit. It does sound like it's a little bit like trying to be a single. I get that vibe from this. Like maybe they wanted to. This could have been like some sort of hit, but it was okay to me. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't super.
See, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that you're wrong. I mean, I think that you're thinking that Robert Smith sounds a different way than what he actually sounds. Like, he doesn't sound like what he looks. And he talks like this, like, Friday, I'm in love. Like, that's not what Chris Rowe's doing here.
In the verses, he does the Robert Smith thing.
I don't care if Monday's blue.
That is
Tuesday
not what he sounds like.
And
you gotta drop a few octaves. That's like if he got kicked in the nards.
Thursday, I don't care about you. No.
Keep going.
Friday, I'm in love.
Wow, that was a range right there, folks.
You have to be dynamic a little bit there, but that's my Robert Smith. That's what I hear. I don't hear this. I hear like, oh my God, I can't think of the band that I want to say that he sounds like, but he sounds like something like one of those emo bands with the hair from the deep 80s, early 90s. I just cannot think of it. It's not Robert Smith though. Like it's not. It's somebody else. And
like
you guys have to help me.
Wait, is Blue Monday the song?
I think it's a song by Orgy.
He's got that like deep voice too.
And I think that's a cover too.
It probably is. I don't know. Yeah. To me, it sounds just like The Cure. Well, in terms of the voice, not the music.
I'm going to play you Cure songs. I'm going to prove you wrong, but not today, not now.
All right.
We're going to talk about this. So tell me about your secret handshake, Steve.
I can't share that with you. Although we do have a High School Never Ends secret handshake.
We have a freaking show together, and you tell me you can't share your secret handshake?
We have our own secret handshake.
Do we?
Yeah.
If not, we should figure one out.
We're going to do that. We're going to do it all during Four Chord Music Festival. And maybe we can teach a few select fans. Come see us in Pittsburgh, and
come see us.
Teach you the handshake.
Well, giveaways, kind of.
So this is another one that sounds like there's just too much being put into one song. There's too many guitars, the piano, etc. There's all this distortion and noise in the background, and this one just kind of drones for me. Is very, very boring. The last verse or the last line kind of seems like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Does it ever even faze you that your father's involvement with a cult nearly killed your firstborn child? That's how the song ends. Apparently it's about Chris's father-in-law's involvement with the Freemasons, which is a secret society. That's where the secret handshakes come in. But this song did bupkis, zip for me.
Are the Freemasons the guys that wear those like red caps and drive around in little cars?
They're like the oldest fraternal organization. Like George Washington and political figures are part of them, and I think that it's still a thing.
Yeah, I better be careful because they probably are listening.
Yeah, they could get to you.
Yeah, you're not those guys, the Freemasons.
Or maybe I am. I don't know.
No, I think I'm thinking of the Shriners that do that. They have those little beanie caps with the red and the tassel.
I'm not too familiar with a lot of secret organizations.
I don't think this is very secret. You know what I mean?
I'm still not familiar.
Okay, I'll show you a picture. You said what was the word you used here? It was. Did you say droning? Was that the word you used?
It drones on, yeah.
Yeah, when you say droning, I say immersive. I think that this tune to me puts me right into the time frame of music that I really, really enjoyed a lot. And I don't know whether that was 90s. I don't know when it was, like late 80s, early 2000s. I don't know. It was like a mixture of all that. Like I hear 90s alt. I hear Deftones. I hear all kinds of things that kind of mix into one. I hear that 80s Euro emo stuff, and they like mix it all together, and I think that they do it well. It's really, really interesting here how they kind of put everything together, and I think it's a great tune. This is a brooding rock ballad, in my opinion, and I am here for it. Like everything about this song seems to work. It goes smooth. It's emotional. I enjoy the music, the tune. Never gets boring. I can't say anything more about it other than that. But guys, I would recommend this one up and down. So Secret Handshake, I'm into it. Now, the lyrics, I didn't really listen to. So that it's kind of weird what you said. I didn't factor that into my opinion. So I don't think it brings me down any, but I just won't pay attention to it.
Sounds like you like this album so far.
So far, so good. So far, so good. And tell you what, the Cheyenne line, that sounds like a train. Do you know if that's a train, Steve? The Cheyenne line.
I believe it's like a railway.
Is that similar to the B&R Railroad and something like that? Like that you could potentially buy in Monopoly?
I think that's B&O.
You're saying a BO.
But apparently, what I read on a site is that Chris is paralleling his recent divorce with the construction of the Cheyenne rail line, where the company was so hell-bent on completing the line that they lost sight of other companies that were actually taking it over. And then eventually buying out the Kansas rail. I don't know exactly. I tried to do some research. I couldn't really find anything. This was on like one of those lyric sites where somebody talks about what he's talking about. And then I tried to look up the Cheyenne rail line, and I didn't get all that much backstory. I wonder if there's like an encyclopedia somewhere that might have it.
Maybe it's a mystery.
Could be. But yeah, I think it is referencing a rail line.
Did the Cheyenne line disappear suddenly?
I think it's still there.
You think?
I think it's, yeah.
But I
don't get to Wyoming all that much, but
I don't either. I've never been to Wyoming, but I can tell you that this song is just a little bit too maybe U2-ish for me. I don't know. I don't think that I'm going to sit here and bash it though, because I think, from front to back, it's still a fine tune that you can listen to that still has some merits musically. I think that there's still some cool stuff to kind of pick out of it that you could bop your head to, but I just I don't get into this one as much as I had prior to, but it's not one that I would bash. Let's just put it that way. So, Steve, how about you?
I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to say that the song is okay. Nothing about it really stands out musically. It doesn't bother me, but it also doesn't really do anything for me. So it's all right.
Did the next song do anything for you?
It did something for me.
What's the name of that one?
And we all become like smoke. This one just sounds really strange to me. Again, there's just too much going on. Sometimes it's hard to understand what he's saying or to actually hear the vocals with all the different sounds that are there. It's got this guitar line that really reminded me of like Not a Surf Popular. I heard that in the the background.
Yes. Yes. Which
This chorus has this weird falsetto to it that I didn't dig. And to me, this is a pretty bad one. And sometimes when I think about this album and some of these songs, I keep saying that there's so much going on. There's a lot of layers, and I'm not being like super specific because I don't know how to say it any differently. But what I can say is I can see like comparisons from old Ataris to this Ataris in like kind of the way that it was like Blink-182 to Angels and Airwaves. Like Angels and Airwaves was trying to just do more and be like stadium-y and spacey and vibey and have all these sounds and things. And that's what it seems like they're trying to do here. And I didn't really like Angels and Airwaves at first. I came around to them a bit, but I didn't dig a lot of that early stuff, and I don't really dig this. I thought this was a pretty bad song.
The difference is, though, that's still Tom DeLonge singing that song. It's not Tom DeLonge doing a different voice singing a song.
You are correct, sir.
So, but that doesn't mean that I that came off wrong. Because, like I said before, like I'm not going to say that I don't like what Chris Rowe's doing with his voice here. I actually do. I like it a lot. So this song, though, I feel like you're right. I feel like they just they really wanted to do something just a little bit more artistic, something a little bit more layery, something more complicated, and I think it might have just gone a little bit too far. I don't know if you can't knock it out of the park every time. And I'm sure there's these people out there that really appreciate music that probably listen to this song and can pick out 1,000 things on why it's good. But for me, the average listener here and the pop punk dad, I don't think that this is one that really stood out. And maybe it didn't stand out because it was too much going on. Sometimes too much isn't good. So we may or may not agree on this one, Steve.
Sounds like we do.
I'm curious, though, about the next song here, which is called Connections Are More Dangerous Than Lies. Connections are more dangerous than lies. What does that mean?
I think it's a reference to love and relationships and stuff like that.
Steve, if you're not in love, stay where you are. Can you listen to that, or are you going to stay where you are?
I'll stay what I am.
I mean, you're a married man, so I would imagine that you wouldn't stay where you are in that scenario.
If I was not in love, then maybe I would not stay where I am. Right?
Yeah, because you'd have to go.
He's saying if you're not in love, don't fall in love. He's not capable of love. He will never write a song about a girl. He did.
That's not very good advice, is it?
What?
If you're not in love, stay where you are. Okay.
I mean, it's not very like optimistic advice.
But is he saying like, hey, just be a bachelor, go out and have fun and don't worry about it? Is that what he's telling you?
Kinda, yeah.
Bachelor Chris Rowe.
He's saying stay away from the women. He's had his heart broken. He has.
Hey, guys out there listening to me talk right now, and Wingman Steve, if this doesn't get you going, if this song doesn't get you going, then I'm not sure what to say. I think this is such an amazing tune on this album, on this I keep saying album, on this song. Like this song to me is a super duper standout on this album. The weakest part of it is the chorus. It just is like that's the only part I could really say that I didn't absolutely love. But Chris does so many things on this track to make the song better. I love his voice on this song. I think it lends perfectly to the music. It melds magically with what you're listening to. And it's just such a memorable melody throughout that, especially again in the chorus, or I'm sorry, in the verse leading up to the chorus. It's really cool. Really, really cool. And I am here for this song. So Big fan of this one.
Yeah, the verses are again very Cure like, but I did not think that it's a terrible song at all. The chorus, while it's simple, it's just one line, sounds like a traditional Chris Rowe chorus. I said terrible because he says that like 100 times. We were such terrible liars. So I thought that was funny. In that like British, before the last chorus, I feel like they repeat that. We were such terrible liars. We were such passionate lovers. They repeat it a lot of times. Maybe they could have cut a few of those out there. But if we were doing a top 3 favorite songs, I think this would be in my top 3 for the record. So I think that it's pretty good.
That's not the chorus though, right? Like that's something different.
I think that if you're not in love, stay where you are is what I would call the chorus.
Right. And I didn't like that as much. I
It's
loved the terrible liars. And I thought it was dumb at first. I'm like, what the hell's he talking about? Like terrible? Is he just doing that because he can't think of anything else to kind of write in there that would rhyme? But I think it works, especially when the guitar falls out and he just belts it out. Like it's amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Guys, listen to this song, please. You know what, Steve? Normally I would give you good advice, but whatever lies will help you rest. That's on you.
Fair enough. This, I think, in this song is the only time where I think that the falsetto worked. I felt that the falsetto was okay in the chorus of this one. This one is not as tough for me to listen to as some of the other ones. I feel like it is decent, but it doesn't really get me like super excited or anything like that.
I want to know like what song gets you super excited? Compare it against a song that gets you super excited.
I think that not capable of love and connections are more dangerous than lies were probably the songs I would be most excited about. But I'm not super excited. Maybe I'm
not saying this album. I mean, just in general. Like, give me a song.
Well, my favorite song of theirs is Up, Up, Down, Down, Left, Right, BA Start. Not a lot of people know that one, but I mean, off of So Long Astoria, you got In This Diary, you got Takeoffs and Landings. Even something as stupid as like Teenage Riot, 11596, Standing Beside Football Rules, like a lot of their catalog gets me really excited.
I just needed one.
Sorry.
But that's okay.
Up, Down, Down, Left, Right, BA Start.
You showed how excited you could be about Atari stuff. And I thought for sure, like I wrote down like Steve's going to really like Falsetto Chris. So I think you kind of did. Just
here, not the last 2 times.
It's definitely another strong offering on this album. This strings me along here. It's again one of those melodies that I can't get away from. When you compare this to In Reverie, like I kept saying over and over again, like guys, I can't get into these songs. Like the melodies here don't make sense in my brain. It's just noise. But in this album, the melodies make sense. I don't know what that says about me. Whether I like a certain style of music or maybe I don't know, but this is just another one that clicked. It wouldn't be my top 3, but it just clicked in there, and I would listen to it again because it has that infectious whatever it is that I want to listen to. So the hits keep coming for me on this album. So far, Steve, I don't know. I feel like I'm disappointing off of April, but I don't care.
I think potentially this is where it ends. I would think that, at least for me, the enjoyable stuff is far done now. Now that we're done, eight songs down, I think 9 at the end I did not like all that much. Far from the last call. Super Robert Smithy. The chorus isn't good. It's kind of janky. I want like catchy, fast, up tempo, and this is like mid tempo filler to me.
This is mid tempo gold.
Really?
Mid tempo gold. Guys, this is an amazing song. You gotta listen to it. That's all I have to say. Well, I have a couple more things to say, but I think that muted, downtrodden, like gray sound that takes you into the chorus, so that beginning verse that just sounds like it's in black and white, or like that gray or tan or green, like greenish of what you're watching. I don't know how to describe it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And then it takes you into this chorus that it seems like a reward for getting through all that sadness, even though the sadness was still cool to listen to as well. What a great song that, right? It just and that chorus, the hook, the sound, it's an earworm, guys. They put together just an awesome song here. The only weird part is there's like this, I have a spoken word section. It's not spoken word, but it's just a little bit different of a cadence on delivering lyrics. It's kind of somewhere in the late middle of the song. That definitely doesn't spoil anything, but I don't understand why it's there. I think it probably could have been cut out. However, this is a great tune from front to back. I loved what they did with this one. So artistic, musically just there, and it sounded great. Steve, sorry, we disagree there.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we disagree.
I don't think that we disagree on the next one. When all else fails, I think everything did fail here. This song just kind of blends to me. It does give you a little bit of an 80s sound, just like some of the other ones, but I don't know. Like they really don't do anything fun here. It's just another song that if you think about like, okay, guys, so we did all these songs. Some of them sound great. Choruses are awesome, but let's just kind of take that kind of sound that we're putting together here, and let's not do anything special with it. Let's just do another song that kind of sounds like that. And that's what they did. And I didn't like it. So what did you think, Steve? I think I know what you're going to say.
The flow of the song is just strange. The highs come in weird spots. He goes back to lows in weird spots. There's this scream where he says, "God forgive me," which sounds horrible. This was not a good song.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. If you listen back, you would hear it. Was
he forgiven for this song?
I mean, he didn't do anything that bad by putting out a song that I don't like, so I hope he is forgiven. I don't know what he's asking. He says, let's see, and maybe it's too late to keep the one I love from giving up, and I guess it's too late for forgiveness. God forgive me. I guess it's too late for a family now. That's sad. But wish you the best, Chris Rowe. You put out a lot of good stuff. Don't
you feel
really
bad
like
now for bashing the song after listening to those lyrics?
No, I don't. I didn't like the song. I've listened to a lot of their songs that I do like, and they cover, he covers a lot of personal shit. He talks about like, finding out that he had new family members. Obviously, he's been married and divorced. Like he gets deep. Chris goes deep. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's it.
What happens if I would pay Chris $100 to give me these lyrics and I would send them to you as a gift?
Well, first off, it would be $125, and you would get them on a piece of notebook paper, not like nicely printed paper or anything like that. It's literally notebook paper, and I would not take down my current Atari's lyrics that were given me as a gift for this song.
Could you put them like right underneath the High School Never Ends banner or something where you could see it?
They're in a frame on my wall. Let's see if I can turn my computer if I don't screw it up. It's that one there. See, it's two pieces of loose leaf notebook paper that was ripped out and written the lyrics with a pen.
Well, it's authentic.
Yeah, I thought for $125 he could like go to the store and like get some nice paper. Like I have some other handwritten lyrics that are on some nice paper. I thought that would have put a little bit more into it, but it is what it is. It does kind of give it that. It does kind of give it that old school notebook, high school kind of feel to it. But for $125, like spend like $6 on like some like.
I'm gonna offer him $100, and I'm gonna ask for all the lyrics from this album.
Oh, he won't do that. Actually, one of my main beefs with the way Chris does his lyrics is that he used to just pick like 6 songs, write the lyrics, and put them on eBay, so fans would have to bid against each other to get them. And I'm like, dude, follow the William Ryan Key, follow his thing. Set 2 weeks up. Hey, I'm going to have lyrics available for 2 weeks. Any song you want, I'll write them out. This is the price. If you want them, you pay the price. If you don't want them, you don't pay the price. But not just, so he actually did that this last year for Christmas. They came after Christmas. My wife was upset because, she was trying to give them to me for Christmas, and they came a few days afterwards. And yeah, that's how they arrived. I think they're cool. I like his handwriting and all, but I would have made sure to get it on one sheet of paper, not two sheets of paper, and I would have put it on much nicer paper.
So you don't think that I'm asking for that?
You can ask for whatever you want. I don't think you're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking like $100 bill, like cash.
I'm telling you, she paid $125.
Yeah, but this is different.
Because this is different. Because this is facetious.
Because he's going to listen to this album. He's going to listen to this episode and say, yeah, you know what? Awful April. I want to prove these guys wrong. So I'm going to write out all my lyrics for them. And I'm only going to charge them $100.
I wish you the best of luck.
We'll talk about it. We'll see how that works out. Is this the soundtrack for this rainy morning, Steve? If it's a rainy morning where you live, do you turn this on?
No, I do not.
I think this song might sound better if it was a rainy morning, right?
No, I don't really think it sounds good at all.
What if you really weren't listening to music? Like you didn't care about what was on in the background. You just turned something on.
I turn a lot of things on in the background, and I wouldn't choose to put this on in the background.
I think that this song is trying to be very musically rich. But once again, like this one dragged.
Overdone.
It's dragged on. It's not very interesting. I think it's overdone. You're right. It's overdone is disinterested Chris. And there's parts of this that can be considered creepy. I say that because if you listen to some of like the weird sound effects behind the music, it's like, okay, well, think about listening to this song in a really creepy scenario, and it kind of fits there. So I don't know what scenario that is.
Like you're staying in a haunted mansion?
Yeah, I mean, haunted mansion, or maybe like a cornfield at dusk by yourself. Like that's creepy, isn't it?
That would be creepy. Yeah, sure.
Like imagine a cornfield with like a house that's in the distance. That's pretty creepy. I would not want to listen to this song while being in that cornfield.
Yeah, I don't think I want to listen to the song at all. I agree with you. It's another one of these songs just overdone musically. There are times where the music takes over the vocals, which become inaudible. It's not well tempoed. And these last three songs are just way too fucking long. 4 minutes, 47 seconds here. Next one, 5 minutes, 39 seconds. Last song, 5 minutes, 56 seconds.
Yes.
Ooh, that's just not the right way to end an album. And they're kind of notorious for at least in their early days, like real short punk songs. So again, that whole Blink to Angels and Airwaves comparison, doing these like long, giant things, it just wasn't what I was looking for.
You do not want to begin again from the beginning on this album?
No. And I don't have any notes other than I just find this song long and boring. I don't have anything else to say about it.
I need to be in the mood for a song like this, and I would need to be a very specific mood. Like I would need to really just be in a funk and need some kind of song that matches that funk. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze here. Not worth the investment of the time that you would need to sit here and listen to this song, because it's not really, there's nothing rewarding with it. It's a little bit too long, and it doesn't have that it factor here. It's just like I said, it seems like you're waiting for something that you never get to. And unfortunately, that leads to not a great song. So
I like your Girl Next Door quote.
What's that?
That was the quote. The juice worth the squeeze.
Oh, really?
It's from that movie, The Girl Next Door.
Oh, what movie's that?
With Elijah Cuthbert. She's like the real hot girl next door.
I never watched that, but I know what it is.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done movies before, and my sometimes I give movies high regards that maybe don't deserve them all, but I enjoyed that one. I thought it was funny. It was good.
I remember that one. Is that the one where she was like she was an adult film star or something? Yeah,
you don't know that at first, but she's like in high school or
spoiler,
and he's like he's trying to get into a good college, and then she moves in next door and makes him go a little crazy, and then she finds like an adult film star or something like that. But then she's got this guy who's Timothy, what's his name?
Oliphant.
Yes, Timothy Oliphant, and he's like, I don't know, her manager or something, and things get crazy. That's a good movie. I'm gonna go watch that.
That was a pure guess, by the way. I had no idea. I
That's
just
who it is.
like saying Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant.
So we're at the last song here, Act 5. Deep voice guy again, Steve.
Act 5, Scene 4. And
Right up
so
your
it
alley.
ends like it begins. So we begin again from the beginning, and then it ends like it begins. I think we're getting a little too, I don't know, inside our own brains here.
No, I don't think this is. I don't think this is the worst one. I think this is a better version of "Begin Again" for the beginning. I think it's a better version of that last song. Musically, it's a little bit more interesting. It sounds better for sure, and it's a little sappy. It's really lovey-dovey, but the highs are good. The lows are lows. I think it gives you a little bit of a ride up and down like a roller coaster. I don't mind Chris's voice here. I don't think I'd listen to this one all the time, but as a way to wrap up the album, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's a fine last song. It just it's not as offensive as the last couple. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, I agree. The song's not too bad. It seems to be kind of storytelling. The composition is interesting, but again, it just doesn't have the hooks that a lot of these previous Atari stuff had. Like, there's just no hooks that pull me in and be like, oh, I love that song. Oh, I love that part. There's a super slow down part in the bridge. It's not catchy. And then the end is a little bit long and drawn out. Again, it's just shy of 6 minutes long. But overall, the song is not, there's worse songs on this album for sure.
I get some catchy stuff in this one. I think there's some catchy stuff, but it's not enough. Well, that went pretty quick for a long album. We kind of ripped through that. I think maybe it's because it's just me and you, but
it's also because I was like, I just don't like that one. It just doesn't sound that good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, you broke apart some of these songs, so that's fine. I mean, I knew going into this you were going to be very, very critical, and as you should. It's awful April, right? But it does not sound, Steve. And actually, hold that thought. Hold that thought, because we're getting ahead of ourselves. We can't forget about ranking it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for ranking it. And this is where we flip the script. Normally, it's our top 3 songs we like to rank, or top 3 whatever, right? Depending on what we're talking about. But today, we're going to flip that script. We're going to talk about our least favorite 3 songs. Makes sense, right? So this is probably very challenging for Wingman Steve, because he has some songs that are probably in his head equally as bad. So how do you rank them is the question. So I'll be very interested to hear, Steve, what your bottom 3 are, from 3 to the worst one, which is 1.
Yeah, I think if you look at the 13 tracks, I think there are 5 that I would say are like okay or good, and then 8 that are not good. And it was hard for me to figure out like which is the worst and which I like the least. And honestly, this 3-2-1 is not that detailed. I did do a 3-2-1, but you're right. All 3 of these could be number 3 or number 1. I went number 3 with Secret Handshakes. Number 2, And We All Become Smoke. And number 1 was the soundtrack for The Rainy Morning. All of those just couldn't really bear to listen to, and would not go back to.
So it's funny, because I went 3 songs in a row. Like, my number 3 is Begin Again from the Beginning. Number 2 is When All Else Fails. And number 1, we agree, soundtrack for The Rainy Morning. We were not into that one. I think that's interesting how it's unanimous, but it's just that section of the album that for me falls off a cliff. And even though you somewhat come back with Act 5, I feel like that after for the last call, I would be done with this album. That would be the last song I would listen to, and then I would probably turn it off or start it over again. So, as much of a fan I am for that song, I would be fine with that being the last song I listen to, and then moving on to something else, and then coming back to it later. But those 3 to me just are not worth the time.
I agree. I didn't like it. None of those 3 were ones that I thought were very good.
So did this change your mind, Steve? Did you see anything this time around that was different from when you listened to it way back in 2007?
Yes. I think that my overall impression of the album has improved. I think that I found a couple of songs that I like, or I thought that weren't that bad, where initially I thought this whole album was just basura. That means trash in Spanish. So I think re-listening to this, while I didn't like the whole thing, I think that I did find a few tracks and overall made my opinion of the album still kind of think it's mostly awful, but not as awful as I did before I did this.
And I'll tell you what, I believe you, because I know that based on what you said, like I could just see 2007 Wingman Steve just putting this in and being just fully disgusted. I could see it.
After that first track, which is actually good, they give you this taste of what you want. And they're
Did
like,
you even think that though?
Nah.
Did you think that back then? Like, okay, all right, I'm good.
I can't remember the first listen, but I remember liking that song. I think it was on their MySpace or somewhere before it came out. So like I knew that song.
Yeah, so I will stand behind what I remember me saying when we did this entire Atari's catalog, and that I dig this album for the most part. Like I like the majority of songs on here, so I'm a fan. I liked the left turn that the Ataris made. I think that this version of them sounds great. And I'm a guy that can enjoy both types of Ataris music, and
The Ataris is.
the Ataris is. And again, that's okay. That's okay. So I don't think this is that awful. We should have had a yes no on awful for each of these albums. Did we do that? I don't think we did that.
Well, we kind of wrapped it up at the end of each episode.
So is this album awful?
I think it's mostly awful with a couple of, highlights.
I should have just put you to a yes or no. But for me, no. It's not awful. I would listen to this. I'm a fan.
Well, I have something to add before we wrap up.
Go.
I have a challenge for you, for both of us, actually.
You're hitting me with stuff I'm not expecting here.
You're not expecting it. This is the end of Awful April. In Awful April, we covered 4 albums. We covered Panic at the Disco's Pretty Odd.
Okay.
We covered Good Charlotte's The Chronicles of Life and Death.
Ugh.
We covered Saves the Days, In Reverie.
Ugh.
And we covered the Ataris is Welcome the Night.
Yes.
So what we're both going to do is we're both going to rank those 4. Which was the most awful and which was the least awful. And you are going to start.
Oh, God. Well, that's a tough one. I'm going to say that this one was the least awful for me. Okay. So we're going to say this Atari's album is the least awful of all 4 of them, even though I was a semi optimist on the Panic album, but I think, head to head, I would listen to this one before that one. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 1 that I'm giving you as an answer, but the most awful, that's just like a coin flip. I gotta go Good Charlotte. I can't stand Good Charlotte, and I can't stand, even though there were some songs on that album that were like, okay, fine, like I'm okay with that. I would probably listen to In Reverie before I would give In Reverie another 2 to 3 listens to try and like it before I would ever listen to that Good Charlotte album again.
So you're saying that Welcome the Night is the best of the 4, then Pretty Odd, then In Reverie, then Chronicles of Life and Death.
Yeah, and I hopefully that does not contradict what I said. I'm thinking in hindsight. In hindsight, that Good Charlotte album made me really mad. So I think that I'm gonna stick with that. Do you get to do it too?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I think that the least awful is this one, Welcome the Night. I think that the second least awful for me is the Good Charlotte album, Chronicles of Life and Death. I think the second most awful was Panic at the Disco's Pretty Odd, and I think the worst one that we did was In Reverie. That's my 2 cents.
Unpopular opinion.
Again, it's unpopular with some, it's popular with others. Hot take.
So that was fun. I think that Awful April, again, overall, I think it exposed a lot of stuff. And even though we went into this exercise with the idea that, hey, these are going to be awful, I think what you saw out there listening to this miniseries was that wasn't always the case. It was the case for the most part, but I think that even with awful albums, sometimes there can be gems, and there definitely can be polarizing opinions, and that's not rocket science. That's nothing new, but we proved that here once again on High School Never Ends. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. This may be just something we come back to in the future at some point in time, but for right now, we're on to something new, and I'm not going to say what that is. Steve, please do not spoil it for our listeners.
Sure? You don't want to tell them?
I said don't.
If they listen to 4 episodes of Awful April, maybe they deserve a little nugget at the end.
You want to give them a teaser? It's just a teaser, maybe.
Go ahead. Whatever you feel is appropriate,
do it,
Chris.
I want you to give the teaser.
Well, first off, just want to say thank you, because if you thought these albums were awful and you still listen to all the episodes, that's pretty cool. If you listen to the albums just to see if you still thought they were awful, thanks for playing along with us. If you listened because you thought we were assholes and our opinions are wrong, that's fine too. Obviously, when you call an album out for being awful, this is all subjective. What I think is awful, Chris might think is great. Vice versa. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. So thank everybody for coming along with this exercise. This was something new, and I think it was fun. There was a lot of chatter about it on social media, on the Discord. So I think it was a fun exercise, even if you happen to not agree with us. But Awful April is done. Next week, we are jumping into May. May is my birthday month, so I'm going to be super excited about that. And I'll just say, watch some movies. That's it. There, I only gave away a little bit, Chris.
There's the teaser. Wow, that the alliteration seems like it writes itself. So draw your own dots together, right, guys?
It's correct.
Hey, look, we are on the socials, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, thank you for listening to High School Never Ends. We appreciate you. And just like Steve said, we want to hear back from you on what you thought about this particular episode. But, we want to hear back from you on what you think of the show. So hit us up on the socials, especially our Discord channel, but not specifically. We like to hear from you on Facebook. We like to hear from you on Instagram. We actually got some really good feedback on some of our other Awful April shows from you guys out there. Some we've never heard from before, which is really cool, really cool. So continue that on, give us those messages. Let us know how you agree, disagree. We're on all the socials. If you want a link to where that is, simply put, go to our hub, www.hsnepod.com. It's kind of our hub, right? That's where you're going to find links to all of our socials, and then you can talk to us.
That's true. And at that site, which is www.hsnepod.com, you can also buy some High School Never Ends merch. We might have some stuff to give away for free if you're going to be in Pittsburgh at the Four Chord Music Festival. I don't know. It's possible. Or you could just buy a t-shirt or a hat or a mug or anything else. We got hoodies and stuff like that. All the money that you spend goes towards the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, helps us keep this show free. And of course, it also helps us if you give us a 5-star review. You can do that on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever else you're listening to us. Again, we're going to be back next week. It's a new episode. You have something else to say? What are you trying to say?
Don't go to the close because I have an idea for Four Chord.
Okay.
I'm gonna wear 30 t-shirts, and I will give away those t-shirts one at a time.
That's funny because 29 of them are going to be like Chris's old shitty shirts that don't fit him anymore, and one of them will be a High School Never End shirt.
Yeah, because I didn't say what they were going to be. Yes,
right.
I will wear 30 t-shirts.
Wow. I hope it's not too hot a day. That's at the end of June. But anyways, stick around. We're going to be back next week with a brand new mini-series, kind of new mini-series. Until then, keep on rocking those dad bods. Throw up your rock hands and blast the pop punk. Internet!
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.